Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. And again, we want to thank everybody that's supporting us over at Patreon. You guys make this possible in these times. There's a lot going on, and a lot of people are starting to sense a little bit of a shift. It does feel like things have shifted a little. We are always careful to not fall prey to any sort of false hope or psyop that's underway. And when we're talking about feeling a shift, we're feeling something. We're sensing something. It's not like it's, oh, okay, so-and-so said this one said that, maybe this is happening. It's more of a feeling, a frequency change. It could be as simple as they're turning on CERN, turning off CERN. Maybe they had some sort of glitch in their own processes when we're talking about the system itself. But absolutely, there is more of a pushback going on.
There's something going on. I think it was about 4 or 5 days ago, we both felt this energetic shift where we both felt lighter. We felt like there was good news afoot, something very happy on its way, just something different than what we had been seeing for so long prior to. So at this point, I will take any happy shift, because things don't look so good. I mean, we do need something happy in our lives, all of us.
Absolutely. This is German Member of Parliament Christine Anderson putting the unelected globalist tyrants at WHO on notice. The quotation says, "This will end if we simply say no." And that's what we're here to do today, because an unelected body like the WHO, which is controlled and run by multi-billionaires, should never be allowed to act in the place of a democratically elected government. We are millions and millions around the world. It is you, that is the small fringe minority. We will bring you down. We will not tire until we have done that. So brace yourselves. We are here and the fight is on. So I was asking Cindy to feel into this person and what do you feel? And the interesting thing that she said was, well, let her say it.
Well, I didn't know who she was, but he showed me the picture. He told me, what do you feel? And I just looked at him and I'm like, I'm really kind of confused, but I see two. I see two of them. I see one and then there's another one, as if something like they were almost twins. And I wasn't really, I was kind of confused by the answer. So I asked Mike, I'm like, okay, can you take anything from that? Because this is all I have. I can't go any further. I see two.
And so I said to her, do you mean as in perhaps an overshadowing, like when we look to certain dark entities like the CEO of Pfizer and others out there, we can clearly see Draco overlays going on. And so then Cindy was feeling like, yes, and this doesn't feel dark. So it could be some sort of walk-in, some sort of overlay of a positive kind.
And we will take it. The Pleiadians, there's other beings out there that have said that they will step up when they are able and channel through people and help humans. So this made the most sense to me. Some type of walk-in. Her original soul is there, but it's like she has some extra help. It was the Blue Avians also said that they would channel through for positive change too. So wondering if this is possibly the start of that, maybe.
Perhaps. And again, like when Cindy brings up the Blue Avians, it did kind of stun us because no, we don't trust everything out of the mouths of anybody on Gaia, whether it's Corey Good or David Wilcox or any of these guys, again, it's not that, but it's that those entities named the Blue Avians really do exist. Yet again, does that mean that Corey Good is giving you 100% of the truth? No, absolutely not. Or David Wilcock or anybody. You got to use your own discernment. But again, there are so many entities now that speak openly about the reality of the Galactic Federation, including public figures, politicians, and people in very, very high places that have come forward and verified that reality. Where even 5 years ago, if you were talking Galactic Federation, people would look at you a little bit more like, ooh, you're one of those kooky ones, aren't you? Aren't you? What have you been imbibing? Well, again, it's the realization that we're never alone. We've never been alone. It's impossible to be alone. Consciousness abounds. Life abounds. This whole universe is created for consciousness to explore. And meanwhile, King Charles, Rishi Sunak, and Lord Cameron will each be doing their own exploring on their private jets to fly to COP28. That's that climate change summit in Dubai. Yeah, they all, they could all share one private jet, but no. And they could even fly coach. Shoot, make them thumb it. Let's see those guys go out there and put their thumbs up and see if anybody's going to give them a ride. Yeah, just Skype. Yeah, again, the pomp, the circumstance, the ego, just loaded with ego, these people. Yeah, the UK's unelected king, the member of the few, Sunak and Cameron, it is hypocrisy. It doesn't even quite suit it. You need a stronger word than that. You need a much stronger word than that. Again, the only problem with the world is the power structure. It's got to be completely just a relic of the past. Something that needs to be, I'm trying to think of good terms. Let's just say we send it down the toilet with all the rest of the turds. Turds, yes. The royal turds. Flush those royal turds.
I think that's a nice word. Turd.
Yes, royal turds. Well, here we have the sun, and definitely this we talked about in yesterday's video. So we have a plasma cloud that was Earth-directed, expected to arrive late Friday. It's going to be a fun one. Because what Cindy gets is this is going to boost our immune systems. Again, the sun is a relay from source and from the creator of this universe. And, there is one source of all things. There is a creator of this universe as well. But from our understanding, there are other creators of other universes. And there are other universes. But we are being given, let's say, a little help. And it definitely helped when it comes to the consciousness train, as we certainly need a great awakening here. NOAA's issued a G3 watch for December 1st in anticipation of the combined influences of 3 to 4 CMEs. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Absolutely. This excites us. And maybe this is why I feel so positive today, honestly. It's like we're reeling out the videos today. In between people, it just feels like everything is in a heightened sense right now. As you see the radio propagation going on over the Pacific, as, at some point in time, a lot of the frequencies on the Earth will be silenced, albeit maybe just for brief periods of time in particular spots. And I think it's going to be just a massive awakening. Can you imagine if all of a sudden all the cell phone towers, all the FIVEG, everything just stopped? I think everybody would be coming out of their zombified stupor and be like, holy crap, do you realize what's been going on?
And then there's this. It looks like there's some elementals to me. I mean, when I look at it, I kind of see elementals showing their disapproval about how things are being run, and who's in control and who's calling the shots. So I see this as elemental play, when the Christmas tree won't quite stand up. Yeah, there's the White House Christmas tree toppling over, that is, so it looks like somebody must have took their little voodoo Christmas tree doll from the White House and knocked it to the ground. Yeah, somebody's having fun here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm reminded of a Tool song about mom coming and washing the whole system away. Absolutely. At some point in time, it's going to be it needs to be washed away, because again, when we're talking about germ theory and terrain theory, they have made this planet just a filthy, polluted mess, and it's the system. And here we have Venezuela and Guyana going at it, but you have reports of the Brazilian armed forces reportedly been placed into a heightened state of readiness due to a significant movement of military equipment and personnel in eastern Venezuela on the border of Guyana, which has recently been detected. Now, B in BRICS is Brazil. And so Russia and China are aligned with Brazil, but they're also aligned with Venezuela too. And in fact, as far as people from Latin America crossing the border illegally, a preponderance coming from Venezuela. And so you have this inner squabble that may or may not take place. We'll have to see. It is curious. So if you're looking at this map, you see Venezuela here, Brazil's all in here, and then the small countries of Guyana and Suriname. This section that has the stripes in it, this was actually claimed by Venezuela going way back to like 1899. There was an agreement that was put in place that made Guyana, gave Guyana its actual borders today, but Venezuela has always contested that. And now it's curious that we have the Whiptail oil and gas project going on, which is off the coast there, and then you have these military movements. So, yeah, this area that we're talking about off the coast, it turns out, there may be a lot of black gold there, and, a new energy source. And for all their talk about getting rid of fossil fuels, which again are not necessarily fossil, everything about the system, is really a joke when you look closely in, because it contradicts itself constantly. And yet here you have, is Brazil and Venezuela, or is it just going to be Venezuela and Guyana going to war? What's happening here? We'll have to watch. But this says everything to the leadership on the planet. Because again, there is one global overseeing power that makes sure that quotas are met on a planetary scale. And that's something to realize, because, they run it like a business. They really, really do. The draconian system is a business model. It's all about greed. It's all about resources. It's all about control. And yet they fight amongst themselves all the time. Because again, if you're talking about the most greedy, parasitic, ego-laden entities on the planet that are the leadership of the planet, yeah, of course, they'll be looking to shove the other off a cliff to better themselves a little bit. This is all part of the inter-squabbling that we always have. Authorities demand access to private social media conversations to spy on anti-mass migration sentiment. They want to see, well, why are you so mad about this? Because again, our tax dollars are paying for it. Our tax dollars pay for us doing things to ourselves that we don't want done. That's the bottom line. And whether we're talking about Dublin, Ireland, or whether we're talking about Chicago or Atlanta or LA, I mean, it's all the same. It's all the same. People are just fed up with this. And here you have an illegal alien whistleblower in San Antonio, Texas, alleges how NGOs at the migrant center are committing major fraud by billing the government for airline tickets never purchased by them. Oh, the scams go on and on. I mean, do you want to talk about the trillions that the Defense Department doesn't know where it went? Well, we know that, what's his name, Zelensky's got two new yachts, $75 million. We all paid for that. You worked for that. You worked for his yachts. You worked for all this death and destruction we see all over the planet. Your work is putting the clouds up in the sky that are making so many people sick. This is the reality of the system that we're in. And over here at the Finland-Russian border, a group of irregular migrants from Syria and Iraq attempted to push through the border into Finland. Finnish police had to use tear gas to prevent their entry. And, reports that the Finland-Russian border will be closed down are coming out now. So, is that something showing that there's major movement underway? I've been watching them put all sorts of equipment in Estonia. Now, don't forget that Estonia said no to the who? Estonia said no to the who? Yeah, little Estonia. This tiny little Baltic nation that literally could be rolled over by Russia in just the blink of an eye has happened in the past. So, don't forget that we have that conflict ongoing. When Russia did, Finland's a tough nation. Finland's a very, very tough nation. Look to World War II and see how tough it was for anybody to do anything to Finland. I mean, these guys can ski and shoot at the same time. They could withstand all sorts of cold weather, no problem. Again, logistically challenging, especially for people that are used to living in Syria and Iraq and other, very, very warm places, going to spend the winter up in Finland. I don't know why any migrant in their right mind would do something like that. But then again, these people are given GPS coordinates and told where to go, and they have cards that are getting fed money constantly.
It's not like they just came from a really warm place going to a cold place. No, these are people that were conditioned. You don't just go from really warm to really cold and cope with it like that. There's some type of conditioning. There's some type of training that's been had. There's a lot that has been done for them to help them blend in and cope and, help implement themselves into that system. So a lot has been done, when really we're not watching. There's so many distractions out there right now, especially. It's like one distraction after the next. And it's a really big, steep hill that we have to climb. And we can give all of this information, but I don't think that information without some type of resolution is very helpful. So it's like, oh my gosh, what do we do? This is a lot. And it has to come in baby steps, and seriously, when I say it starts with you, it starts with you. What can you do today to walk yourself out of the system so you're not being a spoke that is supporting the wheel of control that we're all kind of stuck in? Now, if each one of us took one little aspect of our lives and pulled that out of the system and found another resource, that's a pretty big dent right there.
Absolutely. So you have a propagandist threatening to enter Finland with tanks. They've given us a lot of things, and we should note what is said, because whether you're just saying, oh, this is just a news propagandist, well, again, everything is fed to the news, and they're told what to say. They're just puppets. So, yeah, it very well could be a foreshadowing of another major invasion. And the big takeaway is, again, most people around the world that are sane do not want war. They don't want war. They don't want to, risk their lives and their loved ones' lives for really, money for the elites. And, it's just so obvious how the military-industrial complex just feeds off of blood. I mean, they're bloodthirsty, parasitic vampires. This is the power structure in play. Again, lobbying. It's legalized bribery. The whole system is legalized mafia. This is what we have in places of authority. But, again, it doesn't mean that won't happen in the very near future. I think this says it all. King James. Demonology by King James I. And the Holy Bible. Oh, I only watch the King James Version. People will say that. I only go and read the King James Version. Two sides of the same coin. You know, that's what we have to recognize. Two sides of the same coin. The power structure is two sides of the same coin. And they're always out to blindside you. Always. But you got to roll with those punches. And don't get caught up in the fray. Again, look to Mother Nature. Look to the natural order of things. After all, a puppy only wants to have fun. And we should be here exploring and playing and enjoying ourselves. Of course, I understand a lot of people don't want to even look at the news nowadays because it's been so tough to palate. At the same time, we are getting closer and closer to a shift. We are getting closer and closer to having to make decisions. How much do we stay in the system? How much do we get out of the system?
And I always like to say, look to your pets. If you need direction, look to your pets. What is this guy doing right now? He's having fun. So his owner should go have some fun.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.